Welcome to another edition of Boundaries and Brotherhood with the Gordon and Carrie Show. And we're going to have to do this live over here. If you're watching this live on TikTok, the title of it was, Why Won't You Let Your Man Lead? Why won't you let your man lead? And coming from with Miss Carrie, she used to be a different type of person. But while I get this all set up, our normal routine and stuff like that, let's get it going. Give them the preamble. Let's get the show on the roll. And when you see it on TikTok, when they say hi, I got to invite, right? Invite another host. Okay.
Yeah, you get to invite me.
Okay. Invite. I got to invite. Did it come through? Did they come through yet? Oh, here it is. Here you go. Send the invite. Invitation sent. She's going to come on live so she can get the speak. Harry Johnson, thank you for coming. 10 o'clock, today's topic. Why won't women let their man lead? If you're watching this on YouTube, live on YouTube, you're on TikTok, Carrie, get it all set up. Tell them what we're going to do. And just go off of what you're posting. And that was so great. I was like, I'm going to use this as the show. This is great. And I'll get it going.
My name's Carrie Pullaro. I am a relationship and mindset coach, and I help high-achieving women stop chasing love and own that they are the prize in their life. It really is all about the relationship that you have with yourself. And I think the topic that Gordon really wanted to talk about was women who are struggling to allow a man to lead in their life. And I think for me, at least at my experience with myself, with past clients, is there is just this inherent lack of trust within ourselves to allow someone else to lead. And it really has nothing to do with the other person. It really is the lack of trust within you. And then it's like, well, let's explore where the hell that came from.
Right.
Where did that come from? Right. And generally it's going to be, at least for myself personally, it was from caretakers when I was younger, like not showing up for me. So now I've grown up in this thinking and this experience that no one's going to show up for me. So I need to take control and show up for me. And so that shows up in my friendships as I'm growing up. It shows up in school. Like as I'm going to school, man, I'm going to be, like for me, I was a high achiever. I'm making great grades. I got to do everything alone. I got to be the successful one. I got to be perfect and make it all work and make sure that I accomplish all the things because I can't trust that someone else will show up for me.
True. But I have one question I want to ask you because the comment is like, why? Well, it was a comment on one of your posted. Wish more women would be more responded to this. Why do you think the modern woman, because of the feminist, because Miss Carrie used to be a feminist movement type of gal, or girl, or stuff, or whatever you want to call it. But she's changed her ways, and now she's guided women instead of being the prize and being that strong person. She has to walk in her femininity and everything else. You know, she still has those tendencies, but she also learned a lot by letting the man lead. Because let's face it, if you're a real man, you want to lead. You want like Carrie's man Abel. He wants to provide experiences. And is it wrong to do that? From your point of view, Carrie?
Is it wrong for him to want to lead? No, I think that's natural. It's the genetic makeup of a man.
Yes, it's natural, but some women don't think that. It used to be, I can do too much.
And it's exhausting. And I think I can always go back to know where it is that I get to stop and take a step back and observe is when I personally am becoming exhausted in life or like energetically. Period. If physically, energetically, all the way across the board, if I'm feeling exhausted, stop and take a step back and observe. Right. Okay, what's really going on here? Where am I not tapping into my own inherent, like, complementary energy? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. How does it seem where did it shift for you? Because that's how you were able to kind of get the relationship you have when you start being basically all that and then some power girl, Power Ranger.
Well, I think I realized, and I took several courses on relationships.
Years
of courses on relationships. And I think one of the big key things for me to understand was that men and women communicate completely differently. And they're just two completely different human beings. We think differently. We react, we respond, we communicate. Everything we do is different. And our differences are actually the biggest compliments towards the relationship. And if I can lean more towards what it is that they provide that's complementary to the relationship, rather
Yes.
than being combative and wanting them to show up a particular way, allow them to show up in their true authenticity. And then I think I'll receive more than I really anticipated. At least that's been my experience.
Okay. Okay. When you say combative, how was Carrie 1.0 versus Carrie 2.0, the old and the new?
So I think Carrie 1.0 was all about being successful, accomplishing, being successful. And all of these things worked for a while. All of that energy that I would put towards that would work for a while, but it just didn't work in relationship. And I couldn't understand why, because I was like, it works in other areas of my life. Like I'm getting shit done. I think what happens is we fail to understand that relationships are reciprocal.
Absolutely.
And at least for me anyway, I failed to understand that relationships are reciprocal. And if I'm always doing everything for me and I'm sending out the energy that I don't need anybody else, and this really goes into every relationship.
Everything.
If I'm sending out, I can do it all alone, then no one's going to show up. No one's going to show up the way that I want them to. If I allow people to show up the way that they truly are and authentic and true to themselves, then it's just like, oh, wow, what a gift. I'm in the appreciation of all of it. Trying to make somebody fit this mold that I think is appropriate doesn't work.
Oh,
And that's
absolutely.
where I blew everything up before, because I had this idea based on like TV, these romance novels, and
Oh,
like all this other shit. This is how men should show up in a relationship. This is what your relationship is supposed to look like.
it's not real.
No, it's not real. It's all such a fantasy. And your relationship can look however you want it to look, but you get to really believe it to be true.
A lot of the times you have this false premise of what it's supposed to look like, passed on from your grandma, passed on from your
Yes.
mom, passed on from your relationships. You could have been involved in your career, your business, your health,
Yeah.
everything. You got to rely it because it's reciprocal. It's a give and take thing, no matter what you got doing. Even with people on TikTok right now, thank you guys for joining, because a lot of times women don't understand. I'm not saying you cannot be your same unique self, but at least give the man his masculine parts so that he can feel good about himself. Because
Yeah.
the minute you don't, the minute a man doesn't feel good about himself, guess what he'll do? He'll shut down.
Yep.
Then he won't come home. Then he'll be out, he'll find something else somewhere else that ain't going to be cool. And it's all because why? You want to repeat yourself, like Carrie says, 3 times just to make sure so he gets his point, your point across. It doesn't work. Shutting down emotionally instead of staying open to the relationship. What do you tell your clients in a situation like that?
I really like for them to take a step back and to like observe how they're showing up. And it's quite apparent how they're showing up based on how the other person is showing up.
Mm.
And that whole idea of thinking, and I'll share with you, like, this is an experience for me this week. I'm actually going to go stay with Abel's mom for like a month. I'm going to go stay with her for a month in Los Angeles. I'm going to go stay with her for a month while he's out of town. And I'm going to support her on getting back into like her healthy mindset and routine,
Beautiful.
exercise and cooking and all the things, right?
Yeah.
Because, that's my superpower. So I'm going to go help her with that.
She's in the gym, ladies and gentlemen. I'm in the gym too.
And, my whole thing is I start thinking about it and I'm like, okay, so I want to plan. And in my head, I have a million things of like what I want to do. And so I've said to him like 3 or 4 times, hey, can you start a group chat with me and your sisters so we can all be on the same page on what we're looking to accomplish by me going down there? And I've reminded him every day for 4 days and it still hasn't happened. And then, so today, actually, it was after I put that post up, I was like, you know why it hasn't happened is because you're trying to remind him.
You're forcing
it. Just allow it to happen. And I'm a planner. I know that he's not. Well, he's different than I am. And so it's just kind of like, okay, it'll all work out the way that it's supposed to.
Okay.
And I don't need to remind him again, because I almost sat down and sent an email this morning and was like, here's a list of things that I need you to do before you leave.
Oh,
Like, you need to go back and read your own fucking post.
but sometimes it works out that way. Because
Yes, absolutely.
your thoughts and your post is so good. If you're a woman that's hitting what they call the wall nowadays, you're in your 30s, your 40s, and you have no direction, please reach out to Miss Carrie Pullaro. And if your husband needs help, because my topics with Doc is isolation, having boundaries, and being a person of stature, reach out to Boundaries and Brotherhood, take the assessment, and figure out how we can get you some help. This is why we have the Carrie and Gordon show with Boundaries and Brotherhood, so that we can get both ends of it. It's just so cool because a lot of times people need direction, especially if they're stuck doing the same old things. Like Gary said, she's done self-help work. In fact, some of her mentors was a good friend of mine and gave him years of trainings and stuff. But how does this type of direction that you're going on, knowing that you let able lead, how does it affect, what kind of problems did you occur before? And what happened after you kind of realized it? How did it change? That's interesting.
It really took like open communication, because at first I didn't think anything of me wanting to leave. I thought I was being helpful in my head. And
Okay.
so one day we were in the kitchen and he said to me, you think you're being helpful, or you say you think you're being helpful.
That's good.
You say you think you're being helpful. However, that is a sneaky way of trying to control the situation. So to make your nervous system feel safe. And I was like,
He got you.
I wanted to argue. And then I was like, oh, and I'm like, so tell me, he goes, what happens within my body is I get pissed off because really what you're saying to me is that you don't trust me to handle the situation. And he was like, yeah, because you inherently are telling me that you do not trust my judgment or my capability to follow through and complete something. And I was like, oh, yeah, that would piss me off too.
Of course. I mean,
But I didn't think about it.
it's like how me and Andrew, when me and Andrew are like, okay, I might tell it same like Abel. I might tell her something, this and that, or whatever. She'll get automatically have an emotional reaction to it because of what she's been through. Let it go off for like a few days, maybe a few hours, depends what's going on. Then she'll realize that, oh, I was correct. I said, I'm just letting you know. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just bringing it to your attention so that you can deal with what you got going on. Is that leadership to you, Carrie?
What, communicate?
If a man tells you what he feels, shows some boundaries, and gives you certain things, is that leadership to you that you can respect?
Absolutely.
Right. Why do
Absolutely.
women take that away from men, though? Is it because of social media?
Oh, I think there's so much to unwrap with that. Like, yes,
Please
it's
do.
media. It's conditioning of how we were raised. It's the stories that you're attached to from past relationships. It's social media. It's like all of the things. And it really is the responsibility that we have as women to understand that, okay, look, there's a lot of stuff here in this pile that we can unwrap and realize that we're not meant to live this life alone. We're meant to have the support of each
That's
other.
what Doc just said the other day.
Yeah, and if I'm coming in and trying to control the relationship and leave no space for him to lead, then there's no purpose for him, because I'm not giving him anything to do. He doesn't have the
No
ability to
purpose.
show up and fulfill his purpose and feel any kind of fulfillment within himself.
Right.
So why does he want to be there?
Right. Now, you put on with, here's what the truth, most women maybe at your level, because you might have your career, you might have done good in school, you got everything put together, right? A man can't lead if you're already running the whole show. Explain that from your point of view and what you've learned, because that's don't get it twisted. Carrie's laughing because she used to be a different type of person before. That's why
This specific topic took me a very long time to understand, because I was like, well, I'll just handle it. He's busy. I'll just handle it. So that way the relationship doesn't suffer. But that was just a bullshit story I was creating in my mind, because I really wanted to be in control of the situation and get the desired outcome that I wanted.
Is that for most people? Do you think most women?
I believe so. I mean, that's been my experience with clients. And it's like, dude, let go. There's so much growth and beauty and that you can experience, and fulfillment and joy when you just let go, dude. Like, drop the fucking rock.
Right.
It's weighing you down. Yeah. And
okay, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
but if I give him the space to lead, like that, I think if I give him the space to lead, then that provides him with a purpose. And if I get to communicate the desire, like I have a desired outcome, right? Like I use dating or a date as an example, right? Because the way that I used to communicate was, hey, like, we never fucking go anywhere. Can we fucking go somewhere this weekend?
Right.
How excited does that make you? Do you really want to get up and go do something with me? But this is the way that I thought community
Right? No, I mean,
was.
I get it. I completely get. Now, if you're watching this, guys, if you're watching this, how many of your girlfriends, women's, the people you're trying to date, talk like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Will it get nowhere? It won't get you. No, it won't get them nowhere. But they want to demand.
Demanding and complaining doesn't work.
Talk about that part. The demanding. As a man, I don't like to be. I guess you can suggest, you can be told, you can influence, because I want to do it anyway. It's just like you said, the words, the tone, the presence, the invitation, not a text. Speak
Right.
about that, because that's deep.
I'm showing up as an invitation to invite you to bring forth your best qualities, right? To contribute what you have to provide, because men love to provide, right? And so if I can give them that space to be the provider, and that doesn't mean it has to be like financial. So don't misunderstand what I mean.
Okay, yeah,
But
yeah.
men love to provide, period, provide anything, a solution. I like to think of it as solutions. That's where I go with my mind. And so if I communicate, you know what, I would love to be surprised with a date night this weekend.
Okay.
Allow him the space to create that. Instead of, we never do anything. The complaining isn't an invitation for anyone to want to create anything at all. I mean, honestly, if you just think about, and I'm gonna say this to women specifically, if you think about your children walking around and complaining about all the things that you don't do for them, right? Like, oh, you made my
Man,
lunch
that's
wrong,
deep. Yeah.
or you didn't get me to school on time, or you didn't do this. Where is it that you're showing up complaining?
Nice. Because you think about it, see, that's the thing with children, right? They're so innocent with everything else. All they do is model what you do and say. So if I'm complaining, I try to tell my kids, yeah, I yell. I mean, it's not perfect. Everything else, I get upset, this and that. That's part of life. But it's like what they're doing is just a reflection of what I do to them. Don't show that in front of the kids, because if not, they're going to be doing it to us. Now, how does that reflect for a high value partnership? Because you have one now.
Do you mean in the relationship?
In the
as far-
relationship.
in the relationship, my observation of how he's showing up.
Yeah. Versus the person that you used to be. Because I like to see the contrast of it all.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So in the past, I'd complained so much and I just couldn't understand it. Like, I would complain. I'm like, I'm telling you that I don't like this. Why do you keep doing it? I don't understand. And it never dawned on me that this type of communication doesn't work. So when I realized that this type of communication, it clearly is not effective, then it gave me permission to step back and say, okay, so how can I communicate effectively? How can I invite him to do something different? And it really was about acknowledgement.
Okay.
That's what the one thing that supported me is acknowledging the way that he is showing up and making a request. And then there was also for me, like that transition, that shifting, it was difficult for me to make a request because it felt selfish. There was a lot of different energy going on there.
Right.
It felt selfish. It felt like, oh my God, I'm like asking you to create this when I can do it myself. Oh my God.
But you're not allowing it.
I'm not allowing it. And I remember I would complain in one of my past relationships. I'll never forget this. I had a specific incident where I was complaining about, we never do anything, and you don't do this, and you don't do that, and you don't do this. And he goes, you always tell me what you don't like and what I'm not doing. Don't you want me to want to do those things for you? Because right now I don't want to do those things for you.
Right.
And I was like, well, yeah. And in my head, I'm like, why don't you just fucking want to do it? But
yeah, I mean, that's just
right. Like, why don't you want to do it? Like, what's wrong with you? There's clearly something wrong with you that you don't want to do these things for me. I'll tell you what was wrong. Was my communication. That's what was wrong. That was not working. It was poor communication. It wasn't working. And so he was reflecting back to me, like, your communication style does not make me want to get up and provide something that, like, your desires. I'm not inspired. It didn't evoke anything within him to want to create that in our relationship. And rightly so. I understand that.
But at the same time, even like for me, I want to do things for my family, for Andrea, for everybody else. But it's like, I need to feel that I'm appreciated, right?
Correct.
I need to feel that I'm going to purpose, and I'm answering what the request might be. You know how you have your okay. She might say on a good day, she might suggest something. Okay, I'll get it done right there. On a bad day, man, screw this. I ain't doing shit for you. But that's what we're thinking, right? Because if you're not letting your man lead, you put him in a position to start thinking like that, right? And then even like you said, if you start complaining, you start doing a lot of different things, you're not being grateful, you're not doing all this other stuff. How about the polarity with your that complements your strengths and your softness? How do you figure that one out? Because you're in the gym, he's not. You have certain ways, he don't. He has a certain experience in life. You might still go and try to get there, but you're trying to figure it out. And it all comes down to letting him lead that purpose. Talk to me about that part. That's going to be interesting.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely a work in progress of the polarity, for sure. Because there's certain energies that I get to recognize. Like when I get up in the morning, we go out and we do a walk together. We walk together, but we don't talk. We actually we're listening to something together. We're out experiencing nature, kind of moving our body. I find that on the way back from the walk, we have really great communication and talks. Now, if I'm going to the gym and I'm getting in that workout vibe, I'm clear that when I come back, that's not the energy to like have a conversation, right? Because I'm in that like hyped up, pumped
you
up.
hyped up, you moving on,
Yeah.
blood is pumping, everything. You on your pre-workout, you doing your thing.
Yeah, that's not the time to talk about something serious in the relationship. Like, it really is about timing, understanding each other. You know, like, for example, his sister asked me the other day, she's like, as far as communication, she was asking about like the mornings and stuff. And I was like, look, I know in the morning when we wake up, he does not want to have a conversation. He doesn't talk to anybody. He talks all day. He don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I leave him alone. In the morning, we go for our walk, and then about halfway through, then that's when I know it's like, okay, cool. He's worked out some of this stuff. We can have a conversation. But it's really knowing your partner and respecting them as well. And I've had to figure these things out. Like he's had to tell me, hey, when I wake up in the morning, like I have a lot of things on my mind and I just like to process things. I don't want to have a conversation.
How has his leadership complement your strength? Because you gave in.
Yeah, it really is about me surrendering.
Right. You gave in.
Yeah. And I know a lot of women don't like to say those words, gave in. But it's surrender.
Yeah.
And I never liked that word, surrender. Surrender means I lost. Like in my mind. But so I had to reinterpret that one. So for me, it was like surrender means I didn't win. I'm all about, dude, I want to win. I want to win. That's like my energy.
Oh, trust me, guys. She always wants to win.
I want to win. But in relationship, that doesn't work. You can't have a winner and a loser. When you have that means that somebody's better than someone else. It doesn't work. We're both equal here. And so it really is just understanding that I can surrender to the moment and it doesn't make anyone right or wrong. It's just what's going to work in the relationship right now.
Let me ask you this. What happened if you didn't surrender wholly? Like you tried to fake it?
You can't. It will show up.
Right.
But it will show up energetically. You're still in that armor, that state of repelling. And
right. But why don't women do it?
Protection. At least for me.
I mean, because like I said, for the people that's watching this, Tanya, Jacob, Joel, Joshua, Vanna, Sweetie, I wanted to get to know the nitty gritty, and between our friendship, I can ask Carrie all these crazy questions. Because people want to know and join the conversations about it, right? Because I understand you don't want to lose as a strong, independent woman, but you have to give up because look what you got after you surrendered.
Yeah, I feel like surrendering. What's that?
What if you change the word to something else instead of surrender?
I did for a period of time, and then surrender really started to land for me. Because again, it's all about interpretation. It's about me finding acceptance with certain terms. Yeah. Words are just words. They only have the meaning that I give them, right? So if I look at surrender as weakness, then that's what I'm going to feel every time I think about it. So it really, like, surrender it does now work for me. I don't feel like it's like, so the word subservient is one of the things that I have energy around. So I switched subservient to surrender.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like surrender. Okay, cool. I can surrender to this. I can put down my walls here.
Why do you think women don't like to surrender, but they want everything that they see or hear, like the relationship, the 6'2" guy, the guy making six figures, the guy that's gonna treat them well, but they won't give that same energy because they won't let the man lead. Because you've been in that position.
Oh my God, yeah, it's the control. It's like I want to feel control because there is I feel out of control somewhere in my life. My ability to control other areas of my life is going to allow me to have that moment. It's almost like that hit, like when you're addicted to something, like that control is like that hit of, oh, you're okay right now. Because I could be totally out of control in another area of my life, but as long as I'm controlling other areas, then I'll give me that quick relief in the moment. But it doesn't last.
Oh, I mean, it's like you said. So the dopamine hit is correlation to why women don't want to let their man lead because they don't want to give up control and trust.
Yeah, I don't want to give up control and trust. No way. Like because and what I will say to myself is, I only trust myself. I got to handle it. But the reality is I don't trust myself.
I was going to say.
And I'm not admitting that.
Yes.
Because if I truly trusted myself, I would trust my choice in choosing my partner and that he has the capability of leading.
Okay. But now that you surrendered for Abel, how does it, for the women watching or the men watching, for the people that's dating, where's the disconnect? Where do you think the disconnect is?
And communication. And definitely.
Is it perceived communication or false communication of what somebody believing in?
Oh yeah, it definitely is. It's being self-aware, being aware of your current beliefs around relationship, because you get to be aware of how you're showing up and what your beliefs currently are in relationships. If I believe relationships don't last, if I believe that men cheat or whatever the stories are, or that they don't stay, then that is indicative of how I'm showing up in the relationship. So I am in a constant state of rewriting that story that is behind the motive of how I'm showing up.
No, absolutely. Because you're already creating your door out before you even started.
Yes, 1000%.
Yes. Is it because of the insecurity as a woman, not wanting to lead a man, or the shift of it all? Because there's a shift in between when it happens. Because you shifted. That's what makes it so interesting.
It's like surrendering the control of, okay, look, I feel control is this false sense of safety, right? Like I'm creating this false sense of safety that's a huge lie, because as long as I'm living in this and I'm trying to control the situation, I will never truly ever feel safe within my relationship, and I will eventually blow it up.
You're already planning to blow it up because you're not okay with yourself, basically.
And that's where it's like, okay, I get to trust that this person has the best intentions for the greater good of the relationship. I think for myself, going into relationship, in the past, I had always thought of men as not having the best intentions.
I mean, because your history, the background. Some of the people going to be watching the replay have in the life. I got a few. I have one of my actually, she's a director now for a sober house, which is ridiculous. A lot of my friends have done these things because we've been in the life, we've been through it, and want to help people. But how does, say you're in that gray zone of wanting to have that shift, you still want to be strong, you're in the gray zone, you have a good man that you want them to lead, what would be your recommendations to provide more insights for that high value partnership?
Number one, would start with acknowledgement. That was one of the things that really supported me, is start with acknowledging your partner. You don't have to ask for anything. Just start acknowledging them whenever they are, the way that they're showing up, period.
That's deep. Yeah.
Every day, acknowledge something. Get yourself in that habit of, because the reality is, if you're really honest with yourself, where are you not acknowledging yourself in the way that you're showing up? So if you start showing gratitude for how you're showing up, start acknowledging yourself. And that means no self beat up, right? Like, I'm not talking shitty to myself. I start talking to myself differently. I start talking to my partner differently. And then I will evoke within him that desire to want to show up for me.
Do you compete for control, or should you just relinquish?
Oh man, you just get to relinquish. There's no competition. You're a team. And I think that's the big
Good point.
misconception
Yeah.
too. It doesn't make sense to get into a relationship and think that we're opposing each other. Like, why would you be in a relationship with someone that you're opposing?
For the modern women right now, they try to get into relationships to take.
I do see that a lot. Like, there's a lot of entitlement. Yeah.
Right. And but when you want your man to lead, but you're competing against him for the wrong reasons, you're not putting the relationship at the top. Like I said, no relationships is perfect. Clear that shit up now, guys. No relationship is perfect, right?
Not at all.
If you put the relationship on a pedestal because it takes two and you're not want to be isolated, from a woman's side, you're not. Most women don't understand that is because of what's going on in the world, or how they're being treated, why men don't want to approach them, all this kind of good stuff that I see online and stuff. You got women right now that don't want to let them lead because their window of opportunity went by. When did you notice your window?
I would say definitely my last relationship was one of the biggest teachers for me.
Was it?
Absolutely. And looking back and the way he communicated with me, he would share with me what wasn't working. I was not capable
Receptive?
or willing to listen.
Willing.
And it comes down to willingness. Like, until I'm
Willing.
willing
Yeah.
to create the change, it's almost like we're speaking different languages. It's like
True.
he's writing me a
Absolutely.
letter in Braille. You know what I mean?
Absolutely true. But if you wasn't willing, is it because you lost respect for him or you just wanted it your way?
Oh, I'm clear that I wanted it my way, and I didn't respect him. For me personally, I didn't respect him. And it was quite apparent through my communication, because the reason I didn't respect him is because I had this idea of what relationships should look like, and he wasn't showing up that way. And because he wasn't showing up that way, then I didn't respect him, which caused a lot of conflict within the relationship.
It was a false belief.
Yeah, it was totally a false belief. So I was holding him to this standard that he had no idea, because I never communicated.
He didn't have a clue.
He had no clue.
No, that's ridiculous. Yeah. I wonder how much women out there are actually listen to this because
I would have this idea of how he should show up, but I would never communicate it with him. And when he wouldn't do it, I was just like, and then I'd punish him by like giving him the cold shoulder. Then I know nothing's wrong. And then I just wouldn't talk to him, for like, I just need to cool off. I need you to go away, because I needed him to know that something was wrong, but I didn't communicate.
you didn't communicate. You didn't communicate to him. You didn't give him the opportunity. You didn't invite him. You didn't respect him.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
All this good stuff. But you give this all to Abel now in Carrie's current relationship. What was the shift?
So there was a time that we were dating, and I was still living in Florida. He was living in California. I was going through this really intense transformational program. It was affecting the way that I was in a lot of resistance, and it was affecting the way that I was showing up all over the place, because I was resisting everybody. And so
He was like that, guys.
Oh my God. I was like, and it was like at this all-time high. I was in this space of, I didn't understand. Like, I have done all this work and I feel it in myself. I feel it within myself, but I don't know what's really happening. It was about to be a major breakdown in order to get to the breakthrough. He came to me and he said, look, this is not the kind of relationship that I want to be in. And so the relationship as it stands today, we're going to end it.
Just like that.
I don't want to be in a relationship like this. This is not the type of relationship that I want to create.
You gave an ultimatum.
And no, it was a very clear, concise break.
Yeah.
This is what's going to happen. And I was like,
boundaries.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. And so we broke up. And he was like, I don't want to talk to you for a while. You need some time. And I need time to think about what I really want, all the things. And I think it really landed to me that, oh, you can keep behaving the same way that you behaved in your last relationship, and you're going to create the same exact results.
But that was your shift.
That was the shift to where it was just like, oh, it's the resistance. Like, the pain is in the resistance. And it wasn't just in the resistance in the relationship. It was in the resistance in all other areas of my life. Yes. And so that was I had a mega breakdown and within myself about like.
But you wanted personally to work. That's why, because of what work you put in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's a different level of respect for someone who shows up in a different energy to communicate effectively to you.
Absolutely.
And it was the way that he communicated to me was taking ownership. and taking ownership of the choice he was making as well. It
Nice.
wasn't like a blaming.
Yeah,
It
no,
wasn't,
no.
you're showing up in this way, Carrie, and this is what it was. Hey,
Yeah.
this is not what I want to create. And from a place of ownership, it has to go.
How long ago was that?
3 years ago?
3
It
years
was
ago,
very
maybe?
early. It was very
Yeah,
early.
3 okay. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, the paradigm shift to what you become now to where you guys are at as a relationship, as a couple, as something that you can be very, very proud of, because I'm proud of her for doing it. I don't know Abel, but I know he's a man of integrity and boundaries, and he does the things. I haven't gotten to his book yet. He wrote a book, guys, too. But a lot of it has to do with setting those boundaries. And I just want to applaud. I'll never stop applauding Miss Craig. But yeah, I mean, that says something. So what would be, give me your top 5 things, because we're at 40 minutes. I mean, we blew by this thing again. This TikTok thing. We're both running shows different ways. What would be your top 5 things going on with the show that why women won't lead? Because it's going to go in the chapters.
Why they won't lead?
Why? Because the topic is why don't you let your man lead?
I think that the biggest part is control. Women have this inherent belief that they have to control everything to get the desired outcome. And what they will find is as soon as I relinquish the control, the outcome is far more superior than what I ever imagined it would be. That would be my number one thing, is just allowing yourself to take a step back and not have your hands in the mix. Let God, let the universe, Allah, Buddha, whatever the hell you want to call your higher power, let them run the show. And that doesn't mean just in your relationship. That means like in your life, like take your hand out of the mix just for a minute.
Now that helps. Would that be the number 1? Would it be 3 more?
That would definitely be the number 1. And it would
Yeah.
be, and then number 2 would definitely be acknowledgement. I get to
that.
acknowledge acknowledgement and gratitude. They both go hand in hand for me.
Yeah.
And I do this practice every morning where it's like I get in contact with what is it that I'm really like happy about and grateful for in that moment in the day, what I've created in my life so far. Just kind of sit with that and see the beauty. I begin to see the beauty in everything. And then I begin to see the appreciation. And then it's like, oh my God, I see that in my partner.
Beautiful.
Let me compliment him. Let me acknowledge him. And,
Right.
and that really is that, I think, far more than anything, will allow him to open up and go into the third part, which is you get to communicate effectively, which means you don't get to emotionally shut down, but like you get to remain open and vulnerable and inviting to.
Oh,
And
inviting and
it's-
vulnerable.
I can't expect him to read my mind. That doesn't work. I get to communicate exactly what I want. And I don't just get to be demanding. I get to invite what I want. Like, think about how I want to communicate something. What is the desired result I would like? Would I like to go out this weekend? Oh, well, I'll allow him to plan it. Let him put the ball in his court.
See, I don't like to plan crap.
I can just share with him, hey, you know what really matters to me? Like, it really matters that we spend like an hour together before we go to sleep, having a conversation, or once a week.
Yeah.
It's just something simple like that. It's whatever works for you. It really is just communicating, like, what is it that matters to you, and allowing him the space to communicate what matters to him too.
Right. Miss Angie, one of my sisters all the way back there in Hawaii. Thank you for joining us. But I want to say, because your communication shifts, your relationship shifts, everything shifts during time. Because just like for me, we had a milestone today, and they went to kindergarten. For me, it's a big step because I became a, dad after my past life. I gave everything as a parent, as a dad, because of my two other kids back home that never got this. So everything is about redemption for me, and I lasted to this long. But if you're looking for ways to improve your communication, if your wife, girlfriend is not letting you lead, reach out to Miss Carrie Pullaro, carriepullaro.com, on social media at Carrie Pullaro. And if you're a man looking to get boundaries, want to have side insights, reach out to Boundaries Brother. Message me on here, on TikTok, YouTube, wherever. I'm on also. And I do have assessments. I do have workshops. I do have workbooks. I have a lot of things that me and Doc have. And Miss Carrie, if you have any closing dating advice, dating, coaching for women, relationship coaching, let them know right now.
I think I'd like to end on this is from a place of ownership, just to
Beautiful.
Take a step back. And this week, let me give you a little bit of homework this week. Just observe the way you show up. Observe your energy. Observe the words coming out of your mouth, the feelings and emotions behind all of that, and just jot them down. Take 5 minutes to jot them down throughout the week. And you'll notice a pattern at the end of the week. And from there, then
Yes.
that can determine where you can move forward. I can't change something that I don't acknowledge. So if I don't see it, then I don't have the ability to change it. That supported me was really just like writing it down. That's the homework I'm giving everybody this week.
It's good. It's something we can talk about. Guys, join us next week, Tuesday at 10 a.m. If we have nothing else, we're always on here, TikTok. Watch our live, watch the playlist. Carrie's playlist is if you look at the playlist on YouTube, it's going to be Carrie's Worthy AF, and you'll go back to it. I want you to become the person you were always meant to be because maybe you're afraid. All right, guys. Aloha, and I'll just end this right here. All right, guys. We'll see you later.